بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Everyone, this is Haroon. Welcome to our video with Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, as our topic of discussion. In the previous video we talked a little bit about him. In this video I want to talk about how other companions saw his knowledge and understood his prior knowledge of many hadiths that were being transmitted. So this is not an assumption that we make about his knowledge, but we even see the companions, when we read the books of hadith very, very carefully, that they many times understood that he already knew about something. A good example of this is in Sahih al-Bukhari. You'll find this in Kitabul Janaiz. The chapter is Babu Mata Yaq'udu Idha Qama Lil Janaza. This is a discussion that takes place about when should a person stand up during the funeral procession. So it's a legal discussion, but it's also an interesting discussion for us who are interested in hadith. I won't read the Arabic, but I'll just mention a little bit about the hadith. Now, Abu Sa'id Kaysan al-Maqwari, who is a student of Abu Hurairah, he reports the following incident that took place between Abu Hurairah and Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, two companions. And he says that we were at a funeral. Abu Hurairah took Marwan by his hand and both sat before the body was lowered. Abu Sa'id then took the hand of Marwan, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri that is. He took the hand of Marwan and said, "Stand, I swear by Allah, this man," i.e. Abu Hurairah, knew that the Prophet, peace be upon him, prohibited us from that. In other words, sitting before the body was lowered into the grave. What's interesting also is Abu Hurairah then says, he concurred with this and said, Sadaqa, that he's spoken the truth. So this is very, very important, because here we have a number of things taking place. We have two great companions at a funeral, and Abu Hurairah does something where Abu Sa'id al-Khudri disagrees with, and Abu Sa'id recognizes the status of Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, and Abu Hurairah then says, I agree with what you've said as well. So there's this idea of Abu Hurairah already must have known about this as well. So this is something to bear in mind as well. And we have many instances in the books of hadith where companions looked at Abu Hurairah for verification or concurring with what they've said as well. So if you go back to the funeral incident, you'd also be interested to know that another major student of Abu Hurairah, whose name is Abu Salama bin Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, often just referred to as Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, may Allah be pleased with him. He actually transmitted a ruling directly from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, but without mentioning the funeral incident. And this is actually in the next hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri narrates that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُ الْجَنَازَةَ فَقُومُوا, that when you see a funeral procession, a janazah, you should stand up. فَمَنْ تَبِعَهَا فَلَا يَقْعُدْ حَتَّى تُوضَعْ, that one should follow it and not sit down until the deceased or the coffin is actually placed in the ground as well. So we don't really know if this is because he heard it from Abu Sa'id on a different occasion or because he did not feel the incident was worth mentioning. But the point is that this demonstrates the lack of stigma among Abu Hurairah's students in transmitting an incident of disagreement even between Abu Hurairah and another companion, or with his students learning hadith from other companions. This is something that we will come back to in future videos as well. One more example that's worth looking at is to do with the explanation of a word in the Quran. Ibn Abbas transmits a hadith from Abu Hurairah to explain the Quran in terms of the word lamam. Comes in the Quran, and there's some discussion around what it exactly means. This is in chapter 53 verse 32, and then Ibn Abbas actually says in detail that I have not seen anything that better explains what lamam, translated here as slight offenses, than what Abu Hurairah transmits from the Prophet. Then he narrates the hadith. Allah has ordained on the son of Adam a portion of zina. He will fall into it inevitably. Inevitably. أدرك ذلك لا محالة. That's a word in Arabic, or that's a phrase in Arabic. The zina of the eye is looking. The zina of the tongue is speaking. The heart wishes and desires, and the private part either follows through or denies it. This is an example of how he was seen as also someone that could be reliably trusted upon to explain certain words or verses in the Quran. I hope that's been useful. I will continue with talking about Abu Hurairah in future videos. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.